Run it. This one the hit, yo. Lady Sarojini. Bless up everyone. This is Chad and Ben from Jamaica here representing for the host, Lady Sarojini with the Caribbean Connection show. Hey, Power 93.5 FM CHMR 11. Pardon me, I'm a criminal, so get on your searching. But let me tell you though, if you never know, I'm an island man with an African culture. No drugs, no in my bag.
You like a Lego, yeah. Your bumper is a magnet. I stick on like a magnet.
Yeah, it's magnetic. Join Sarojini on Caribbean Connections, Thursdays at 1. Walk through the sands with poetry from our great leaders and academics. Jive with us to soca, reggae, chutney, and calypso. Get your current cricket results, meet special guests, and more. Every Thursday, 11:30 Eastern, 1 p.m. Newfoundland time.
Beast mode, ain't no G code on the island, but I live by the with my brothers.
Yo, how it go? This your boy Vivi the Only, and you listening to Sarojini on Caribbean Connections. Check it out on the radio or on your app if you got headphones. If you in your car, 93.5 FM. You can also listen in on cable, Rogers, channel 942, Bella Lion, channel 787. You can even go online, chmr.ca. Bless up.
Gotta get up, get paid with my dogs. We gon' get it all for one for all, like the musketeers. We've been grinding for too many years.
Good day and welcome again to Caribbean Connections. Thank you for tuning in with us and hanging out with us today. This is our third episode here on Caribbean Connections celebrating Black History Month. So a very happy Black History Month to all of you. Today in our virtual studio, we have the dynamic twin sister duo, Joce and Cece, who make up Shadou. And you're going to hear all about them in the upcoming chat or interview. But in the meantime, we're going to have Shadou open up this segment with What's Going On.
Nurture and grow. See what you sow is that you reap your know. So nurture and grow. What's going on in our schools today? What's going on in our society? Get to lose. No guidance, no parental rules. Get to lose. No one to talk with, no one to share their views. In our schools, bully issues. Interacting up parents, what is your excuse? Peer pressure got them acting suicidal. Kid gangster and rival. So got looking out for pedophile that they abuse and they use them. Kids trafficking, oh what a sin. What a sin. Mommy don't wanna go to school today. Don't let me go. What's going on in our schools today? What's going on in our society? Get to lose. No guidance, no parental rules. Get to lose. No one to talk with, no one to share their views. Teachers striking every day, they're being underpaid. Government don't care. Single parents, they're feeling stressed out. Cannot get a job, they're feeling left out. Do a survey in Canada today.
You just heard the dynamic twin sister duo Joce and Cece of Gem Shadou. And that was What's Going On, opening up this segment today on Caribbean Connection, celebrating Black History Month. So put your hands together and give a big warm welcome to Gem Shadou's Joce and Cece. Good afternoon and welcome to Caribbean Connections on this glorious day. Thank you all for joining us today. And we have here in our virtual studio the twin duo team of Joce and Cece, known as Gem Shadou. And we're going to hear more about them in a little while. But don't go away, folks. I want to say a big welcome to all of you listening from far and wide on the island of Newfoundland and Labrador, in Toronto, Regina, Saskatoon, Calgary, Vancouver, Winnipeg, and of course in Alberta, and crossing over to New York, Connecticut, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, and again over to Berlin, Germany, to the Netherlands, and of course not forgetting our brothers on the continent of Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, Zimbabwe, Sierra Leone, and big up to you all in the Caribbean there, Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, St. Lucia, Belize, Bahamas, and to all of you who I haven't mentioned, I love you all. So really, thank you for tuning in. And I want to welcome our beautiful and talented twin duo, Joce and Cece, here all the way from Ontario. Joce and Cece, welcome. How are you both today?
We're doing well. And you?
I am doing fantastic, and I am so happy to have you both here on the program today. I want to thank you very much. And I know Mom is right there with you. And I want to thank Mom for all the emails back and forth to set up this wonderful interview. So we are going to learn more about you. And we know you've done so much, and you've been involved in a plethora of notable festivals and so much more. But I'm going to start with you, Joce. Tell us a little bit more about yourself, like the school. I know you go to school. You're in middle school, actually, both of you. Give us an idea what it's like, your favorite subject, and so on. Take it away.
Well, school's going great. We actually have the largest class in our school. We had 29, but one moved to a different district board. So now we have 28. So we have our teachers, our French teacher who teaches us French geography and science. We have our language teacher, which we're doing pen pals with right now, to a class in Germany. We have our music teacher, and we're doing glockenspiels right now.
Ooh.
And we have our drama, gym, and health teacher, which are same person, and we're doing for drama. We have I call it the 2 weeks of fear because drama. We were supposed to have drama yesterday.
Yeah.
We had drama yesterday, and we're supposed to read a story, like a childhood story that no one knows about, and you can't know, and you have to act out. So you have to pick people to act out what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying to my friend, if we don't get picked, there's going to be the more chances we don't, the more the names that get drawn out, and we're not picked, the higher chance we're going next. And so the whole entire, oh no, and then we didn't go, and so I call it the 2 weeks of fear, because you're waiting to the next drama class, which is in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Where you
And
have to
Josie,
wait.
absolute. Just to interrupt for me to know and our listeners, you both are at the same school, correct? Okay, welcome back, folks. We were just having some technical difficulties there, but we've fixed everything now. We've got Josie and Cece, the twin duo from Gem Shadou in Toronto, Ontario, singers and songwriters and so much more. And we're going to now talk to Cece. Cece, you tell us now, what's your favorite subjects at school?
Well, my favorite subjects are language, art, French, and
You said gym. You like gym and volleyball.
oh yeah, I like
those-
gym. I like
Yeah.
gym.
And that keeps you very active, right?
Yes.
Exactly. Now, I know when we talked earlier, mom and dad were very musical as well. And you both, Josie and Cece, you always heard music in the house all the time. Mom and dad played. And that influenced you guys a lot with all the different genres. In fact, maybe mom will add to this. When mom was cooking and busy at home, she would give you guys the pots and pans and you would beat away and have fun with that. Right, mom? If you're there, you want to add to that? I don't mind at all. Simone?
Oh, yes, that's correct. I used to occupy them because they had so much energy. I used to give them pots and pans and different, bottles and spoons, and they would make music with spoons, and they would make music with different plastic bowls and so forth. And you discovered that they all had different sounds. So when they were going da 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 da, they were hitting something da 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 ma 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 ma. They were hitting something, and there would be outbursts of joy coming from them. So they were. It was part of their language development too, because they learned, instead of putting soothers in their mouth, I allowed them just to scream, make as much noise as they want.
Yeah, absolutely. And Simone, did you notice then that they really had a keen interest in music?
I did, because oftentimes I was always playing music as part of my routine while I was doing, multitasking, putting them to sleep. They would sleep to music. Sometimes they'd sleep to I would say classical music mostly, because for some reason I felt classical music would make them more brilliant than they were. So I play classical music. I would play everything that was soothing for them while they're sleeping, and I would play soca and reggae and gospel in the home, and so they got a lot of that exposure as well. And they would watch me burst out into dance. And as they grew up, they know I continued to do that. I'll burst out into dance, and they would say, "Stop, mommy, stop it, stop it, stop it."
Well,
Yes.
it certainly paid off, because I know earlier when we spoke, you had Josie and Cece signed up or be a part of the choir at church, and they were singing there. They played, I know, Cece, you played the guitar and the ukulele, and Josie, you played the piano, the recorder, which I know you didn't like very much, but you did it anyways. And then you did this bucket drumming, which you explained to us. So mom certainly was on the right track. Wouldn't you agree with me?
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us what this bucket drumming is about, Josie.
Well, it's a bucket. And you have drumsticks, and basically it's kind of like a regular drum where you obviously hit it, but and you have rhythms, and so basically it's like learning. We're learning how to hit it from you can hit the sides of you hit the sides of the drum, you can hit the top, middle, and then the rim, and then you can also hit your chair in the ground as to create sounds for bucket drumming.
Wow. And I know when you were, I made you explain it yourself for our listeners, but when you told me earlier on, I said to you, this sounded like the steel pan drums that I grew up with in the Caribbean and that you all probably see in and around the GTA area a lot.
Right, right.
Yes. Now, like if that wasn't enough, though all these many activities weren't enough to do, Mom also registered you guys into kinder music and Scottish band drumming and even gymnastics. So my gosh, even at a young age, your schedules were very, very full. So tell us what kinder music is all about, and if you remember much, why did you both like it? You go first, Josie.
Well, I don't really remember too much about it. I do remember I have this drum that I still have it, and I have these like maracas that I still, and like bells, and
Yeah.
we would like play it.
Yeah, it was really fun.
It was really fun. I feel like that was the first like time we ever played like an instrument during the program. So yeah, it was kinder music. I don't remember too much about it, but I do remember about it. So.
Yeah. And what about you, Cece? Do you remember what you liked about kinder music?
I actually don't remember much.
Yeah. You do kinder music at a very young age, correct? Maybe Mom could help
Yes.
me on this. What's the
Yes.
age group for kinder music?
From what I recall, I could be mistaken. They were in kinder music probably around 8, so probably around, I would say 4 to about 8 years old.
Yeah, I think it's 4
to
to
9,
8.
right? And at that time, that's when you put you in choir. You were also doing dance too.
Yeah.
You were doing dance and gymnastics. Remember?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
So they basically had a very diverse exposure to extracurricular activities, including sledding,
Wow.
bird watching.
Wow.
Right.
So Mom was on the go 24/7 with you folks, Josie and Cece, Mom and Dad.
It was. The dad is into more of the rock music, and their grandfather also plays the guitar. He plays like soca, calypso, the old traditional sounds with the ukulele. But he calls the ukulele something else, quattro.
Yeah, quattro.
Wow, my gosh. So you were just living and breathing music, dance, and all forms of arts from a very young age. I think that's fantastic, huh?
Yeah.
We're going to switch gears a little bit, but sticking to the theme of music. You released your single, I'm Alive, in June 2021. And it has been described as a slow burn pop track that eventually morphs into a fast-paced energy thrill ride. Oh my gosh, just reading that, you want to listen to I'm Alive. So what you tell me, and I can start with Cece and maybe Josie could interject, why was I'm Alive so important to you? And I read that you wrote this when you were 10 years old. So you're looking at almost 4 years ago when you wrote it. So why is this song so important to you both?
Well, the reason why it's important is because when at the time when we wrote it, it was like, of course, it was before COVID. Me and Josie just really wanted to write like a song that like represented like feeling alive, if that makes sense. And when we were writing it, we were also making the music with it because we were like, ooh, this chord sounds cool with this. I really like this, because at the time, I knew only basic chords. So later on, I added more chords to the song. But like, it was a very fun writing experience.
Yeah. Well, I also read that you interjected and wanted to evoke the powwow or African trance with the repetition, I'm alive, right? So maybe you put everybody in the zone by repeating I'm alive throughout the song. So whose idea was that? Was it both of you writing this together and brainstorming how you should do I'm alive?
Yeah, it was both of us because we were writing it. We were just like, we were just writing down stuff. We actually recently we found the brainstorm for I'm Alive, and I was like, this we still have it on our phone, and I was just like, wow. I was so confused. I was like, there was a brainstorm.
So were you writing this like in your bedroom or like at the kitchen table or in your classroom? Where do you remember starting to write it?
In the basement. Yeah, in the basement.
Oh, really? So you were kind of relaxed and said, I just want to get an idea how people write songs. Some people say they're sleeping and 3 a.m, they wake up and they have like an aha moment and the light bulb goes off and they run over to their keyboard or desk and they start playing and writing so they don't forget about the music, right? So it's nice to hear the process. And I know you all are younger, so your process might be a little different from, say, someone writing in their 30s or 40s, where they can get up in the middle of the night and run over to the keyboard, right? And what do you remember the most about writing I'm Alive? Like, what are some of the challenges and some of the good points you remembered about writing your new release I'm Alive?
I guess it was the direction. Yeah. Because there was like so many ways you could have went with the song. Yeah. Saying, I'm alive, like, yeah, you are alive, and that's a good thing. But like you could have, there's so many things. Like there was one thing where it would say I'm alive, but it'd go in a dark way. There's I'm alive, but it'd go in the way it went. There's I'm alive, but it was talking about climate change. There was many versions of the song. Yeah.
Oh my
and
goodness.
there's two parts in the song that wasn't originally in the song, which was the fast-paced part. That was more like a newer idea, like months later. And I'd actually say like a year later. Actually, really, I wouldn't say a year. I'd say it was a year. I think it's more months. Yeah. Okay. But it was the fast-paced part, and also the more choir part, because that one would have been more when I first added it, that was when it was starting to go in the climate change direction. But we swapped it up because I didn't think it fit with it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I mean, we're talking about your new release, I'm Alive, but just for our listeners know, all the songs are written by Gem Shadou Inc. And you also had other releases. Of course, most recently, I'm Alive, single, June 2021. You had What's Going On, single, March 2021. So like 2 in the same year, months apart. Mm-hmm. And then you had the Crappy Song, single, November 2020. So you have gotten quite a few accomplishments here under your belt. You should be very proud of that, right?
Yeah, I'm very grateful because our parents really, really were there when we were writing the songs and figuring out what we were doing. Yeah. They were like, maybe you shouldn't do that, but you should do this. So they were like our parents were like a huge inspiration when it came to the music, because they were like, I really like this part, maybe you switch it up slightly. And so lots of the songs would have came out slightly different, and then if it wasn't
like,
for her parents.
There's also parts that were like, maybe you should take this out and add it here.
Yeah.
Wow. I think that's fantastic. Mom and dad, not only your biggest fan and super fans, but helping you with the musical arrangements and the lyrics and maybe helping you to set the tracks and everything. Kudos to mom. Fantastic, mom and dad. I think it's so great, Joce and Cece. You have such a strong support network around you. Because as you know, in this business, it's so easy to get lost. I'm sure you all know that and you've heard about that. But you really have to stay grounded. And speaking of grounded, how do you all stay grounded amongst all of this? Because I know you're little celebrities at school and in and around town. So what do you do to just calm things down, feel like you're just a normal person going to school, doing your work, not too much hype? Tell us what you do.
Well, the first thing is, that really helps is I'm not the most sociable person in the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have most of my friends are from grade 1. I don't really go around being like, hey, I'm in a band and it's called Shadou and I release a song. But
I have like 3 songs out. You should listen to them.
Yeah, I'm more like, if it's like on the topic of music, I'll be like, I have made a song, and what you're talking about with strong song structure, I understand what you mean. That's how, that's how I would talk about it. Or if it was like with my friends, I'd be like, hey, I have a song coming out soon. We have a song coming out soon, and they'd be like, yeah, that's amazing and stuff. So It's more our friends that know. But the problem is, our class knows now.
Everyone knows.
It's because of this little app called Discord. We can chat with people, and it may have just gotten leaked because of my bio, which was Joce from my bio was Joce from Shadou, not a psychopath. Because my profile picture was of this character from this manga, which is like a comic from Japan that I read like a bit ago, and the character was he was not the best person in the world. So
yes, yeah. Well, I think you're on the right track. Just chill out, lay low, and like you said, when it's appropriate, like in music class, or you're talking about writing songs and accompaniments, it's the right time to say, oh, by the way, and that way you're in the zone, but you're also keeping yourself grounded and carry on and be serious about the music and the task at hand. Now, you want to make I'm Alive, you want to do a reggae version of I'm Alive. Why did you come up with that idea?
Well,
you want to go? Yeah, you go.
I feel like I'm Alive. I feel like it would be really cool if there was a reggae version of it, because like how it's like sort of calm, like reggae is also calm, but like how is it like how's the way it's played like folk like? It would sound very cool maybe in like a different genre, and how I'm thinking of how that would be cool. It would also sound really good in other genres now thinking about it.
Yeah.
But like it'd be really fun to make a reggae version of I'm Alive.
That's fantastic, and many of us, in Canada, mainstream, we've heard like music in the mainstream become reggae songs, like they've done reggae versions of it, and it all sounds fantastic, So I think you're on the right track there, Joce and Cece. I have a question though. The name of your group, or for the two of you, Joce and Cece, your stage name is Shadou, not Joce and Cece. So why did you come up with that name, and what does it mean to you?
Yeah, okay, I'll explain it. It was like we were thinking about it for such a long time because the name changed a bit. Because first it was Shadou, and then it changed to Shadow, and then it changed to Gem Shadow. The reason why it's Gem Shadow is because first is the gem, which I thought of it as, those like it's kind of like crystals, right? And each like crystal has its own like side because they all have different little size, different dimensions, and it's in every single one of them. I imagine it's like an instrument or like a personality, or something that reflects who I am or who Cece is, and as a gem together, that is our music. And Shadow is representing how me and Cece are two different people. We look the same, but we're not the same, like personality wise. We do have our differences.
Well, even I know you're twins, and I've met quite a few, several twins in my lifetime, and I can see already the difference. And we've only been talking, well, we spoke on the phone at length a few days ago, but here again we're talking. I can already see the differences between you two. So you're absolutely right. Like, we all have our own personality. And even though we're twins and we share a lot, maybe inherently, and they also say like subconsciously we share so much we don't realize, and spiritually, overall, we're our own individuals. And you guys are saying that yourselves, right? I wanted to mention, you've done a plethora of stuff here for being so young. You've appeared on shows, you've written songs, you've been singing and all of that. But besides that, you've also done tours and festivals, and I'll ask you more about this. To name a few, like you've done the Afro-Caribbean Culturals Festival, Toronto Caribbean Carnival Festival 2020. There's Embracing Culture. There's Big Brothers, Big Sisters Gala Celebration, and that's 2020. If I missed anything, you tell me. There's also the Black Creek Festival, if I stand correctly, the Black Creek Youth Initiative. Am I correct? And you've also appeared on TV. There's been fundraisers. Oh my gosh, Joce and Cece, how are you managing all of this? And are you enjoying being a part of this? Like, what is striking you with all the festivals? What are you enjoying about all of this? Tell us.
Well, for me, it's entertaining people and making them happy. Because, like, when I perform, I'm glad to see that people can, like, relate with the song or enjoy the song or know the song. Because, like, one time we were performing, I believe it was Free Falling by Tom Petty, and somebody else was singing it with us in the crowd, and I was just, like, really happy about it.
And when you're up there on stage, and you're appearing at these festivals, how do you feel? Joce and Cece, tell us.
Well, I feel really excited because most of the festivals we've done are online, but you can still feel the interaction and the energy from the people around you.
Yes.
Because usually, like, if it's like online school, you don't feel nothing, but like it's a performance and you're seeing someone perform, that's different. And the one of the things we did was the orange mic, and that was like a festival that was not online, and it was really, I was like so nervous because it was the first performance that, like, it wasn't the first performance, but in a while that wasn't online, and I was like, okay, get ready for this. You look good. You got your sister. You got your instruments. You don't have to worry about the people. And so we went up there, and I was like, okay, so it was like it was such a good experience seeing people like dancing and singing, and there's people like really really happy, and it was really nice seeing. Also family was there too, so it was like really really happy. I was so happy.
Yeah. Do you find, Cece, like when you're, say, doing a live show in front of an audience up on stage, do you find you feel the energy more and you get inspired a little bit more?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like people sometimes play off the energy, and like now we're doing a lot of things virtually because we can have big gatherings, we can have big concerts, but we can still have that interaction and feel that energy from our fans and all the people around us. No? I want to talk. I know we can't say too much about the new single coming out in March 2022, but you have a Grammy considered artist working with you, and there's a lot going on with it. So we should keep our eyes and ears peeled for this new single coming out in March 2022, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and I know you can't say too much, and that's okay, but I just want our listeners to know that keep your eyes open. You like the music you're hearing today on the show, you can certainly follow Shadou. And while I'm on that topic, if people want to tune in to follow you, do you have a Facebook page, an Instagram, a Twitter account? How can we connect with you by following you and seeing all the things that you're doing? Tell us.
We have an Instagram and Facebook. The Instagram is more active, but we have an Instagram and Facebook under Shadou with the U. Also have a TikTok, but we also have a TikTok, but we don't talk about that TikTok because it's kind of just there. But yeah, we have an Instagram and Facebook mainly.
And Facebook is
and
Shadou.
We also have a website.
Okay. So again, you're using the name Shadou on all of them. So if we search, we're able to find it, right?
Right.
Excellent. So, we can wrap things up a little bit. So I want, maybe Cece can go first. Cece, for all the up and coming musicians out there, close in age to you guys, like when you started out, what are some advice or some tips you would like to share with them?
Well, firstly, I'd say just write or just create your music. Continue. If you don't get if the first song that you release or you start or you're working on doesn't work out, just try again. And if you just continue writing, you'll eventually, if this is for songwriters, if you continue writing, you'll eventually get better. For people who play instruments, if you continue playing, you'll eventually get better. If you continue singing, you'll eventually get better. And it's all about the patience and the time that you take to creating music and putting songs out there.
Absolutely. Well said, Cece. And what about you, Joce? What tips do you have for the young people coming up there in your shoes?
For me, I would say it's all about the effort, because if you put absolutely no effort into what you're doing, you won't get the best out of what you can do. So let's say you're learning piano. I learned that there's an alphabet, which is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and that's it, and it repeats again. Okay, I know the notes, I'm just gonna do this. Boom, chord. I know C and D. That's it. I'm making a song. You technically could go that direction, but what is better for you is to put more effort into it than just being like C, D, C, and singing over that. Because it's better. Music is better when you hear the actual effort that went into it, other than you just lazily just like being like, okay, this, boom, and there's like no effort done into the song, because there's some songs that are more laid back, but that doesn't mean it's lazy. They actually put effort into it, because there's music, there's and you can hear the difference. And so it's good. You have to put effort into it. Don't do it lazily. It's best, you always have to do your best, because and it doesn't matter if your best is not as amazing as someone else's, because that's your best, and you channel your best, and you do your best.
That's a good tip. That's good advice for people, because people can give up so easily, you know, like you said, they might say, oh, I'm not as good as that person over there. You know, I'll never do it like them. I think I'll just go off and do something else. But be persistent, be diligent, stick to what you believe in, and that's all that matters. So what I want to ask you to kind of wrap things up, and then I'll have Mom say, end things up with you all as well. What do you hope to do with music for the future?
Well, I hope I can actually take music into a full-time job when I'm older, because I don't know if I would rather do music than work at a cashier or be a lawyer, honestly, because yes, lawyer is one of my goals in life. I would love to be a lawyer, but doing something that you can be happy with and make people happy with and make money is a really touching thing, and it's something it's just like a huge goal, just to actually turn music into an actual job that we can do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And what about you, Cece? What do you see in the future for you with music?
In the future, I'd also like to continue music and make it into a full-time job. I'd also like to explore other careers or / passions, like potentially streaming, or like maybe being an architect. I was interested in being an architect because I wanted to make buildings. That's the only.
Oh, I love it. I love it. You guys have big dreams, and that's fantastic. And now, Mom, I know Mom Simone is there. Mom, do you want to add something to this? I know you and your husband have played an integral role in shaping the girls into music and all that they're doing. Do you want to add to this? Go right ahead, Simone.
Okay, thank you. I think their journey is organic, and I'd like to not tamper with it too much by influencing them into directions that's pretty much, putting them in a jar. We try to encourage them to explore, to have exploratory learning, and through that exploratory learning, understand that things may change in life. Maybe you want to produce music down the road or write songs for other people down the road, but give them a bigger picture than what traditionally was taught to children or to girls, that if you're creative, nothing's wrong with being creative, but that can translate into maybe, creating commercials for radio stations, for TV shows, scripting. A lot of the things can evolve out of that. Maybe you'll become a translator for a movie, a translator for someone else, but just to kind of open their mind up. And I think that's important for children, to encourage them. If they have an interest, if a talent, encourage them, back them up, and support them where you can within your own means. I think the one thing with us, when I speak of means, there's books, lots of books. We fell short on explaining that these two, they got a little bit of a push from the school curriculum, and I wish there was more development around the school side, but it's a little bit difficult with everything considered now. But I think that but when the kids learn an instrument in school, it doesn't stop there. Give them books so they can continue to develop that skill that the school gave them. So if they're learning to play flute and they did it in grade, let's say 3, 4, 5, or whatever it is, grade, let's say 4, 5, 6, and then that program stops, nothing's stopping for you from letting them go online, look at YouTube videos, going to the library, going to Amazon, purchasing the book to get them to keep continuing in that direction if they're interested in music. Because not only does it help them in their academics, but it helps build self-confidence and self-awareness. And it also helps, I think music helped them through the pandemic. Because during the pandemic, they don't realize it. Don't necessarily have the dexterity to understand that music helped them. It nurtured them through the pandemic. They were able to put their thoughts into writing, into music. And that helped balance them with everything that was going on. It helped keep them balanced. So
absolutely, Simone. And how do you manage with such a busy schedule with the girls and your schedule? How are you finding it?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. So I think the older the girls get, the easier it becomes. And that's something that someone told me when these two was pushing them in the buggy and they were 2. I was thinking how difficult my life was, challenging it was, with the pampering and the taking care of and the constant taking care of the children. But as I was told by many people with twins, they say, you know what, when they get older, it gets easier. And it's very true. Everything you put into them, into your kids, comes back. If you show love, your kids will love you back. If you support them, it will come back. Everything you put into them, you put time into them, you'll see the rewards down the road. And they became more independent with what they're doing. They would take initiative and they would go, for example, they'll go wash the dishes, right? They take initiative and they will go, do something to help mommy. So that's, isn't just music, but life skills.
Yes.
As well as life skills, it's also become important during these times, is to teach them to help. To help and to manage their time. So there's a time for music, there's a time for schoolwork. There's a time for schoolwork, there's a time for help out around the house. And there's a time to play and just be kids. Just to have time to do whatever you want to do, right?
Absolutely.
So it's I want to make sure that there's not a picture that they're just stringent on music all day long. There's a balance. There's a balance. But
absolutely.
But I recognize there are times when we can't capture everything. So I gave them a recorder. So when they're away to school, they come up with a melody, they record their melody, right? So on the recorder. So that way their brains are still, they're just very active, right?
Yes, it sounds like you've got a very active schedule, Joce and Cece, and mom being a very big part of that. So that is fantastic. And I think it's so wonderful, Simone, that you've got, I shouldn't say got, you have the time, but you're making the time to foster them and be with them and guide them along and support them to help fulfill their dreams. Many people don't have that network, and sometimes they don't go on to do the bigger things because the support system isn't there. But I can tell from Joce and Cece, they're so grateful and happy and appreciative that you all are there for them.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, girls, I'm just so excited to hear later on in the year, maybe around spring or summer, to hear your new release. But in the meantime, we're going to certainly listen to your other releases. And I know you're doing very well. And we wish you all the best here, Joce and Cece and the team, the whole team of Gem Shadou. We wish you all the best. Good luck with everything that you do. I know you're on the right track, and we can't wait to hear more music from you. All right?
Thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Oh, it is our pleasure. I'm so happy we were able to do this. And thank you for being on Caribbean Connections, on, as I call it, here on our little big island of Newfoundland and Labrador. And who knows, maybe you guys will make it over here and you'll be performing once the pandemic cools down a little bit. How would you feel about that, huh?
That'd be amazing.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah,
That's
I
so
guess
fun.
you haven't been this far east, have you?
Never.
Yeah, well, I think you would love it here. We're an island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. It can be cool in the summer because it's the North Atlantic, but you've still got that island feel. It has great views, very beautiful. And I think if you guys ever have the opportunity, certainly take it. And we can't wait to hear more music coming from you. All right?
All right.
Okay, Joce, Cece, and Mom Simone, thank you for the time. And we'll certainly be in touch, and good luck with everything. Okay, guys?
Wow, thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening. And you just heard a fantastic interview between myself and the dynamic twin sister duo from Toronto, Ontario, Shadou, whose names are Cece and Joce. I certainly hope you enjoyed this beautiful chat as we did here on Caribbean Connections. Thank you for hanging with us, but don't go away. Let's give it up for twin sister duo Joce and Cece, who go by the stage name Shadou. And for your listening pleasure and enjoyment, give it up for Shadou and Joce and Cece. I'm alive.
When you see the morning light, so bright. When you look at the clouds, you realize, oh, I'm alive. Oh, I'm alive. Oh, I can fly. Oh, I can see the sky. Oh, what is this life? So I found myself in space, and I realized I'm not supposed to be in this place. So I lost and found my way. I'm going to live my life my way. Oh, I'm alive. Oh, no wonder I can fly.
name is Ikechukwe, and this is the One Africa Show. Here on the Black History Month 2022, One Africa and Caribbean Connections. I'm here today with Cuthbert Arcard, popularly known as DJ 16 Keys. 16 Keys is a Tanzanian DJ who is based here in Newfoundland and Labrador. Originally, Cuthbert came to the province for his studies at the Memorial University of Newfoundland and Labrador. But upon completion of his studies, he secured a job with one of Canada's 5 big banks, where he currently works as an associate. A familiar face in downtown of the province's capital city, Cuthbert describes his experience as anything but easy. Cuthbert, welcome to the One Africa Show.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me one more time.
So here again we are on the One Africa Show, and I'm right here with Cuthbert. Once again, it's Ikechukwe here on the line, and with Cuthbert Arcard. Now, Cuthbert, just like I mentioned previously, you are a familiar face here in St. John's, Newfoundland, precisely downtown St. John's.
Oh, yes.
Now, tell me, someone walking down the road, who are you? How do you describe yourself?
Who am I? Well, I'm 16 Keys. That's a very tough question. You asked me to talk about myself. Okay, so I'm 16 Keys. I started making recently, and also at the same time, I consider myself an event planner / coordinator, because most of the work that I put out in terms of music wise, I have to plan them out myself and organize from everything, like the venue, ticket sales, from marketing to making sure everything is running smoothly on that night. So I started DJing back in 2015 for a few reasons, I would say, but the most common one is the fact that I do love music. But yeah, there's other reasons that kind of like drove me towards DJing.
Wow. So thank you, I must say you have a very impressive CV, if I can call it that. Well, we'll get back to that later on anyways. Now, tell me, like, how long have you been in Newfoundland for, and what originally brought you to this place?
I came in Newfoundland in the fall 2014, and I knew of Newfoundland because my brother was already in the province. He came from university, and also at the same time, the mother recruiters came to my high school and kind of like pushed towards applying towards the university. And I chose MUN like any other international student out there because it was relatively affordable until earlier this year, I guess. But yeah, MUN was a very good choice for me because they offered very good education at the same time and very affordable.
Impressive. Yeah. So now I believe now you're done with school now, and you're working with one of Canada's 5 big banks. How is that going for you then?
It's not bad, to be honest. Like, there's the good thing about doing the work in my 9 to 5 in the city, like big jobs. It's not that tough because if I was a bigger city, let's say Toronto, and I was pursuing both DJ and work, it would have been a little bit tough because in Toronto you have more party days in the sense that it's not just restricted towards Friday and Saturday like usual. In Toronto, you have days where Tuesdays popping, Wednesdays popping, Thursdays popping, sometimes Mondays popping. So it's kind of easy to balance the work / DJ life at St. John's because it goes hand in hand in the sense that Monday to Friday I'm doing my 9 to 5. Friday night, Saturday, I'm doing my DJ lifestyle. So it's been, it hasn't been too bad.
Impressive. Once more again, my name is Ikechukwe. We are here with Cuthbert Arcard on the One Africa show and Caribbean Connections Black History Month 2022. We'll quickly go for a break, and when we come back, we will continue from where we start.
For your pocket. October 2020, something happened with the government. That is say we forget for where? For Zumba, by the way. Man, I tell ya, I know they move that way. I know they move that way. Don't make me move that way. No, I'm not built that way. Far across Gaza, look at my sideways. Now I know come look at special spend. In the meantime, I be Kenny. How you want time, make you tell me. If you need speed, I be sparing. I go right behind the steering. I go run up, can you share me? I be on no Zumba, by the way. 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 Coming to you.
On Africa, from the east to the west to the north and down to the south. Welcome back. My name is Ikechukwe and I'm here with Cuthbert Arcard, aka the Just Kids, all the way from Newfoundland and Labrador. Cuthbert, welcome to the One Africa show.
Thank you, Ikechukwe. Thank you once again for hosting me.
Lovely. Cuthbert, just a few minutes ago, you mentioned something very, very important. And you said that you see yourself as an event planner. Tell me more about this. Tell me more about this.
What I mean about it is, there isn't really much going on in Newfoundland when it comes to the Afrobeats dancehall scene. And as a person that grew up listening to Afrobeats dancehall music, I found myself not very satisfied with nightlife experience whenever I go out. So it reached to a point where I had to sort of create my own events in order for me to keep on DJing. It was either that or I stopped DJing. And I really love DJing to a point where like I wasn't ready to give it all up. And I just, one day I sat down and I was like, nothing is happening here, so why don't I make it happen? Why can't I do it? Because I'm looking at my social media, seeing all my friends on Snapchat, Instagram, they're always having fun doing Saturdays and Sundays and Friday, and I'm like, so there are people that are trying to like turn up or have like parties in the weekend. I might as well just provide or make it accessible to them by like providing space. So after sitting down and like making plans and making sure that I approach it accordingly, I do my first solo event. This was 3 years ago, and it was well accepted by people, and it kind of like gave me more morale to keep going and creating my own shows. So that's what I mean by I then plan, because I do tend to create my own events.
I'm guessing like that's a way you kind of bring out. I guess is it the way to showcase the culture or something of that sort? Like I guess is it like a way for you to showcase the culture or something like that?
Oh yeah, 100%. Because the way that I look at things is George Streets has, before COVID hit, it had roughly, I would say, 6 DJs, 5 DJs, not including me. And already the street, the culture on the street is not very, you're not going to go to Confusion and hear Whiskey, Davido. You're not going to go to Martini and hear Movado, Vibes Cartel. And we're here, like, when I used to work at Dusk, I used to get messages from people saying, you need to come down more, you need to come down more. So that kind of like made me aware that there are people that are trying to do that. And at the same time, for me, myself, like I said, there's like 5 DJs that play everything else other than like Whiskey, Davido, and all that. I'm like, how am I standing out? How am I representing my culture? How am I including people that feel unincluded on the street? So that I make it my mission to only stick to those genres whenever I'm playing, to showcase that music, because this is music that's worldwide. Like Whiskey just dropped an album there that's like last year, and that album went global. So you cannot tell me that Afrobeat is not a good genre of music, because we have artists like, in fact, Essence, my Whiskey, it went global. It had a lot of superstars that are leading now, because of how great it was.
You're right. I mean, talent is great talents from the continent, and every time you hear these talents on the radio, and I think you make a very good point, because it seems like there's not much of a change in the culture, but I guess we'll get back to that at some point. We'll get back to that. So in 2019, you had an interview with the Caribbean Connections, and where you talked about your journey and going back to that interview. I was present in that interview. You said something about about the culture, about your journey, and I just wanted to see, has much changed for you since then?
In a sense, if I remember closely, last time we had the conversation, I talked about how a little bit tough the journey was, and has much changed? That's a very good question. I do not think much has changed, like in a sense that I look at it in a sense of people that I'm supposed to be working with, and my relationships with the people that I'm supposed to be working with. Yes, there has been some change, there has been some progress towards my movement, I would say. And yeah, I do have a few stakeholders on the street that are very open to letting me host my events and letting me bring my vision to the street. So to answer your question, has much changed? It would be wrong of me to say no, but at the same time, it will be inappropriate of me to say, it would be wrong also to say yes, much has changed. Have I made progress? Yes, I've made progress.
No, let's talk about the craft specifically, let's talk about your craft. You're known for being a DJ on downtown St. John's. Everyone knows 16 Keys. I assume most people of age know about 16 Keys. Anyone who goes downtown St. John's. But I just wanted to inquire from you. What was what was the motivation, or should I say, what was the inspiration for you to start doing DJ work, specifically here in St. John's? What was that about?
Motivation is it's a little bit of like a few things actually. One of the biggest one is I love music, and coming from Tanzania, East Africa, I listen to completely different type of music. And when I came to Newfoundland, I stayed in residence, and I was literally the only black guy in my, I was one of three black guys in my life, but I was the only one that was kind of like social. Like, I was the one that's going to rescue parties, I was the one that was going to off-campus parties, I was the one that was socializing. So whenever I went to these parties, I had fun, but I really kind of like, I didn't really fit in that well. And mainly because I didn't know what I was listening to. It was like, Newfoundlanders have this very folk song called The Night That Patty Murphy Died. And it's a tap song. I don't know if you've ever heard that song. So, and this was kind of music that I would hear at parties, and like, it's not a bad song, but like, if you're not from that culture, you're not going to be having that much of a great time listening to that kind of music on a regular basis party. So I ended up finding myself taking control of the music because I wanted to kind of like, I wanted to like integrate better at these like the gatherings, because music is all I knew now, and listening to everything else which I can all relate to was kind of tough. So it was a very good driving force for me, and at the same time I have always had a knack for music. So like ever since growing up, I used to have like virtual DJ on my computer and just mess around. But coming here and not being able to hear the music that I wanted to kind of like force me to get into that. Because I remember after my first year at university, I straight up went and bought a small DJ controller because I was very determined. Because every time I went to a house party, actually, they knew me as the guy that took over the aux. Because I'd literally walk into a party and like, oh, there goes Cuthbert, he's gonna take over the aux. And I'm gonna play a little bit modern stuff. Back in the day, I used to play a lot of hip hop. I still play a lot of hip hop, but like, I wouldn't play this deep Afrobeat stuff because it was my first year in university, and it wasn't the mood back then. So I played a lot of hip hop. So whenever I hit a house party off campus or on different res, I was known as the guy that's gonna take over the aux. So that's the way that I found myself into DJing, because I basically wanted to kind of like relate more. Like I wanted to fit in better, and the only way for me to do that is if I can understand the music. And like, that's the only way that I could have done that.
Yeah, and you've been doing this for about how long now? With you?
6 years now.
6 years now. Wow, yeah. That's a long time. So walk me through the initial stages. How did you get into the downtown scene? it was you to rest, but how did that end up being downtown St. John's?
Oh, that's actually funny because it was my second year university, and I think Dusk back then was starting. They rebranded, and they were trying to aggressively push the market. And so the manager at the time, he reached out to the residents executive board, and the executive board is basically the students that represent their house. You have the president. I was the vice president of my house. So the Dusk manager reached out to all the presidents of the month, and was like, I want to have a meeting with you guys. And basically in the meeting, he was trying to convince them to lure all the university students down on Dusk. Then my president at the time, who was actually a very good friend of mine, he suggested to the manager, was like, bring this guy, give this guy an opportunity to DJ at the club. Because I didn't really have a name yet, but people kind of knew of me. So he agreed to it, and he gave me a 45-minute set downtown. It was, at the time, I thought I was doing the best DJ of my life, and looking at it right now, it's absolutely the worst DJ set I've ever had. It's garbage. But at that moment, I was just living in the moment. I was just going on. But that's basically how I got it, and that's kind of how I got my foot in the door. I DJed that night, and it never really took off, to be honest. I didn't ever DJ again down there until months after. But that's kind of how my name was thrown in the mix.
What's in the name though? The name you can't really answer now, or the name you're known for, Cece and Joce. What does that even mean?
Cece and Joce, I'll save that for off the camera. I'll tell you off the camera what it means. But basically, it's a name, and I'll tell it to you off the camera.
All right. Yeah. So typically, when you DJ downtown, who are the people you DJ to? Who are the audience when you DJ to downtown St. John's?
My audience, I'm not gonna lie to you. When I started DJing, my audience, I used to do a lot of and that was mainly because, don't get me wrong, I love every kind of music. I will listen to anything, country music, I'll listen to anything. I'll listen to anything that sounds good in my ear. So when I started DJing a lot of little bit of EDM, because that was the way for me to kind of crack into the downtown scene, because that was the music that's popping. Sorry, that is the music that's popping downtown right now. So I did that, and to an extent, one would say that I was trying to fit in with the scene. But after a few months of DJing and kind of realizing what I want and what kind of DJ I'm trying to be, I kind of made that switch. I started transitioning towards music that I felt represented my style and represented the people that I want to entertain. So that's when I kind of started playing a little bit more hip hop, a little bit throwing a little bit of famous mainstream Afrobeats Come Closer, when Come Closer came out. Songs that were mainstream Afrobeats, kind of throw them in the mix. So I would say that I'm trying to attract more people that are open to listening to Afrobeats, jazz, or soul music, and focus on a little bit of Latin. I don't really play that Latin much, but I do dabble in some Latin. So anybody that's looking to hear those genres of music, you'll always have a good time at my events.
So, Cuthbert, tell me, what has been your biggest show so far? What has been the biggest show you've ever been?
Biggest shows that I've ever had. My biggest show. Okay, my biggest show has to be my own. The ones that I've curated. Don't get me wrong, I've had some very good gigs before. I've DJ'd at Jeff Shout out to Ben Mac. But like is a big promoter there. He also gave me my first gig out in South in Montreal a few years back. So I did give him that. But my own shows are the ones that I find are big because of the amount of hard work that I put behind them.
So walk me through your own shows. How do you go about doing those shows?
So basically I sit down and I start planning, and my planning depends on like, you know, the usual, you look at dates, it's suitable, and once you identify that, you start reaching out to like tomorrow, and it's like, man, like, can I get a date? And that's the challenging part, is getting the location. Shout out to the Rock House. Tony is a very good person. He always has space for me, and I really appreciate that. So as soon as I secure the location, I hit up my graphics designer to get all the marketing content ready, and as soon as it's done, I normally like to advertise way ahead, kind of like prepare people. And we black people are we're very different in the sense that you have to kind of like prepare. You can't just spring something. I mean, you can, but I have found out that I have to prepare my audience for that. I cannot just be like, okay, tomorrow we're doing this to do that. I mean, I could do that, but it's a little bit more risky, especially when you're sinking your money into these bets. So as soon as I get the material out to market, I put the material out, and that's when I start reaching out to a few staff that probably work at that day. And I just reach out to them, secure that. I told them to like book the post off that night. And on that night, we come to an hour before, we set up. I tell them exactly what I expect of them, and you know what I ask them, what they expect of me, and that's how it works.
But typically, with those shows, how many people attend those events? Like, what has been the biggest number so far?
My biggest number was my last show. I think that was the last one, because I wasn't told it because I was busy on the stage DJing, but my last show was November 20th, and I hosted it at the Rock House, and it got so busy and overwhelmed to the point where like my doorman was overwhelmed, and like there was a very long lineup outside where most people waited for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes to get in.
Wow.
And like that was, I'd say that is the biggest one that I've had. Yeah, I'd say so, yeah.
Wow. So you had 1,000 people show up for your show. I mean, like, you're very big in this stuff, though.
I guess, yeah. I don't like to keep my own horn, but mostly always to the people, you know, like they've always show me love every time I show my events. So I always do that.
So I know, like some people may be having weddings or stuff like that, and they would want DJs. Do you also do event DJs, like, you know, do you like do like stuff like that, like weddings and stuff, and various events like that? Do you do those things too?
Honestly, my answer is no, but I have done it before, as recently as like 2 months ago. And the only time that I agreed to do this is because I was having very good friends of mine calling in favors that, you know, people that, there are certain people that when I see a text message from them asking me for something, it's hard to say no. So the only time that you find me at a wedding DJing or an event DJing is because I'm doing something solid. Like, not because I think that I'm better than, you know, like club DJing, wedding DJing. It's because I've just had so many negative experiences with DJing at private events to a point where like I drew the line and told myself I'll never do this again.
Tell me what has been the biggest experience you had, negative experience you had?
Entitlement. People are very entitled, and a lot of people look at what I do as they kind of like don't take it seriously in the sense that nobody comes to me and says, "Man, you just teach me." But like people, the way that I operate, I'm a professional, and I'd have people come to me and be like, kind of like tell me what to do about, like tell me what to do while I'm DJing. You know, like, you don't play this, please do this, do that. And no DJ in the world loves being told what to do, because we as DJs, we have a system. We have, okay, let me speak about me. I have a system that where like when I'm DJing, I'm curating a moment, I'm curating a mood. Where like, yes, I don't mind you asking me to play a certain song, but if you're being rude about it, that kind of like ruins my mood. And I'm very, I wouldn't say I'm an emotional person, but I'm a person that you can really affect my mood really quickly if you're being disrespectful. And I tend to find people at private events very disrespectful. I cannot handle that in a sense because I don't like having to shout at people or tell people off while like I'm DJ. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna feel bad about it. That has happened to me before. I had to like shout at a person that was slightly older than me, and like at the end of the day, I wanted to like start apologizing because I felt bad. You know, the African music. I felt bad, so I told myself that I'm not gonna do that. Apart from that, there's also liability. Like if let's say my equipment was to get damaged at a house party or like at a wedding, there's a very big probability that I'm going to be liable for that, and the people that hire me are probably not going to cover me. While like if I'm at a club and something happens, let's say a person spills a drink all over my equipment, the club is going to be liable for that because I'm supposed to have like some sort of shield protecting while I'm working. So it's basically just that liability and the fact that people are not very friendly when they do it in private events. They feel like they're entitled to. It's like me telling you how to do your work. Like I come to your workplace and tell you, do your work like this, do it like that. Like you know how to do your work. So basically, yeah, those experiences left a very, very bad things around there.
Right. Perfect. Do you have competitors? Do you have DJs you think they're competitors? I mean, are you actually the only one doing this? Are you the only black, I would say, African DJ doing DJ in downtown St. John's, or do you have a competitor?
Downtown, I do not know any other DJ, black DJ doing anything downtown. In terms of competition, I do know a few DJs around the block. Yeah, I do know a few DJs that are on the come up, and some of them are not in the city, but in terms of competition, I've never viewed anybody as competition personally because
why not?
I do believe in uniqueness. You cannot compete with a person that's unique from you. Competition only arises if you're the same.
So how do you mean? What do you mean unique? How do you mean by unique?
Every DJ is unique in a sense that they have their own energy, they have their own vibe, their own techniques, their own methods of doing everything, especially the technique part. That is what separates a lot of DJs. You have these scratch artists, you have the EDM, like most EDM DJs, they're a little bit different from like scratch DJs. And just style, swag, everything that makes you, like everything that completes you, that packages the DJ is different. And I do not see myself as similar to any DJ, regardless of what type of music they play, whether they play Afrobeat, dancehall. If you're gonna be you, I always believe in the package that I have. I'm gonna be me. So with that being said, I don't see myself, I gotta compete. So I I gotta compete with that guy because he's got a package. No, his own package is completely different from mine. So I don't think I have competition. And I'd like to think that no other DJs will look at me and be like, that's my competition.
So you believe everyone has their own lane and they have to stay in their own lane, right?
Everybody has their own lane. I mean, you can always try to copy a person, of course, you can always try to copy a person, but at the end of the day, you have to establish your own lane.
Tell me, Cuthbert, what are the prospects for the future for you?
For me, like we talked about earlier, I'm really passionate and I'm very thankful for my 9 to 5 right now. It has really opened my eyes towards what I want and what I don't want in life. In the sense that I knew for a fact that if I was to do a 9 to 5, it has to be something that I'm passionate about. And I'm very passionate about music. And it's something that I'm trying to pursue. You know, I love to make a living off music. I'm not aiming to be a millionaire or a billionaire. I just want to be able to sustain my lifestyle with my music.
So you want to be a record label boss or something like that? You?
That's a good question. I'm trying to be a music model. That's basically it. Like, I want to own my own music. I want to publish my own music. I want to be in control of my own music.
Finally, the last question I have here for you, Cuthbert, is this. So in the next 5 years and next 10 years, will Cuthbert still be in Newfoundland? Or will where will Cuthbert be? Will he be in Canada? Will he be? What are the future plans for Cuthbert?
I would love to stay in Newfoundland because I have built some sort of a strong base. But at the same time, it is extremely exhausting living in this province, and it's very exhausting. The amount of work that I gotta put in to push my events and just to push the culture out there it takes a toll to a point where I feel like I need to move elsewhere in order to kind of take it to the next level. Like where I'm at here is, I feel like this is the very best I could go, considering my situation around. Like, I'm not saying it cannot get better. I'm just saying that it will take a lot more time and investment to get to the next level here, rather than if I was to move somewhere else in a city that's more conducive to the culture that I'm trying to create.
But assuming you were to move to somewhere else, what are your top 3 destinations? What are you looking at?
Like I said, I love music, and I wouldn't want to tie myself up to just one location. My plans, I really want to tour around Africa. I just want to go around. I want to go to Lagos. I started with a friend of mine. They told me to go in the local, and I'm gonna get mugged. But yeah, Nigeria is one spot I want to go to. Tanzania for sure. That's gonna be on base. Canada, I don't plan on leaving Canada. I plan on staying in Canada, but I see myself going around places more than just settling into one spot.
More great stuff for 16 kids ahead in the future, and I wish you the very best, my friend.
Thank you.
Cuthbert, I appreciate your presence here with me today. It was wonderful talking to you, and I hope we can stay in touch in the future, right?
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Once again, my name is Ikechukwe, and this is the One Africa show. Here with Cuthbert, DJ 16 kids, all the way from Newfoundland. Now stay for the music. Thank you.
water you go use. Tó bá fẹ́ ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀, omi ló máa lò. If you want cook soup, now water you go use. Torí bá ń gbóná omi lẹ̀rọ rẹ o. If your head dey hot, now water go cool am. Tọ́mọ bá ń dàgbà, omi ló máa lò. If your child dey grow, now water him go use. If water kill your child, now water you go use. Tómi bá pamọ́ wẹ̀ o, omi náà ló máa lò. Kò sóhun tó lè ṣe kó o má lómi o. Nothing without water. Kò sóhun tó lè ṣe kó o má lómi o. Omi yóò lọ́ọ̀ta o. Lọ́ọ̀ta. Iná gẹ́gẹ́ ni. Omi yóò lọ́ọ̀ta o. Lọ́ọ̀ta. Iná gẹ́gẹ́ ni. If you fight them unless you wonder. Lọ́ọ̀ta. Iná gẹ́gẹ́ ni. I say water no get enemy. Water. Iná gẹ́gẹ́ ni. If you fight them unless you wonder. Water. Iná gẹ́gẹ́ ni. Omi yóò lọ́ọ̀ta o. Water. Iná gẹ́gẹ́ ni. I dey talk of black man power. Water. Iná gẹ́gẹ́ ni. I dey talk of black power. I say. Water. I say. Iná gẹ́gẹ́ ni. I say water no get enemy. Water. Iná gẹ́gẹ́ ni. If you fight them unless you won't die. Water. Iná gẹ́gẹ́ ni. I say water no get enemy. Water. Iná gẹ́gẹ́ ni. I say water no get enemy. Water. Iná gẹ́gẹ́ ni. Omi yóò lọ́ọ̀ta o. Water. Iná gẹ́gẹ́ ni. Omi yóò lọ́ọ̀ta o. Water. Iná gẹ́gẹ́ ni. Ra-ra-di-ra-di-ra-ra-di-ra-ra-ra.
the pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream. My four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning, my country, tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And so let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring. From the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania, let freedom ring. From the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring. From the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and when it happens, when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last.